Yes, here we are. If you're watching this live, that means it's noon Eastern time, which of course is time
Happening again.
for the High Noon Hemp
I
Show.
don't know what the
Well,
dealio
Beach
is,
cannot
but
hear
the
me for some reason.
dealio is the dealio.
I have to come back so you can hear me. For some reason, Beach can hear me or before the show, and then we go live, and then Beach can't hear me anymore. And then when we end the show, and I come back, Beach can also not hear me then. It's very weird. In any case, it is noon Eastern time. It is the last episode of the year. Hopefully, Beach can hear me now.
Here, I can hear you now. I don't know. That's so weird.
In any case, we are here. We are live. It is the last High Noon Hemp show of the year. Thanks everybody for checking us out. If you want to find us, of course, we're on the Facebook, the Temptations Beach Facebook page. We're also on the YouTube. It's the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel. And of course, if you're on X, or if you can still call it Twitter, follow at Hemptations to find what you need. I'm, of course, Stoner Jesus. He is Beach. He loves hemp, and he is high above the Hemptations and the flower factory in Northside. Beach, how are things this week, this last week of the year in the world of Hemptations?
Happy New Year. That's all I can say. We're getting rid of 25. You know, it's ironic that 25, it's not ironic, it's perfect fitting. Hello. It's a perfect fitting because odd years, odd numbers are not my favorites, and this year has not been a favorite year of mine. So I am just personally looking for 26 just because it's an even year. That being said, um, uh, the FDA has not evaluated this show for safety or efficacy. Uh, let's go ahead and do our pledge.
Mhm.
I pledge allegiance to the hemp fields of America and to the soil in which it is planted, one seed under the sun, with responsibility, sustainability, and thrivability for all. And you know what? It might be the last day of the year, but you know what else day it is? Do you?
Oh
Do
Lord,
you?
hopefully this doesn't continue next year. No, Beach. What day is it?
Hemp Day! Oh, I have to get it out. I have to get it out. Um, so, we know there's about 309 days left of what was the biggest hemp news of the year, without a doubt. In order for our government to go back to work, they thought that it was a good idea to ban hemp. Basically,
Right.
they're banning hemp. It was just let's throw this in the appropriations bill. Nothing to do with the government getting back to work. Um, and this was all because Mitch McConnell and some of the other hemp haters at this point, hemp haters, prohibitionists of hemp, um, were mad because they tried to add this to a bill earlier in the year. And most people were having nothing to do with it. They didn't, most of Congress, Senate, whatever, didn't want anything to do with it. And so it got taken out of that one. And the fact that they shoved it in here with the bill that restarted the country is just like, again, it's the shadiest shit ever.
Yep.
And the shadiest part of it all is they're screaming, it's for the kids. It's for the kids. This stuff is unsafe for the public. But like I mentioned a minute ago, we're going to put it off for a year. We have 300 and more plus days before it's actually going to be enacted. That's how dangerous this stuff is that we're trying to ban. Um, which basically set in motion SB 56, which was Ohio's last attempt. Now, let me tell you, just like this ban in the federal government got shot down, um, this stuff has been getting shot down in Ohio all year. But all of a sudden the government does this, where it's getting out. So uh, the Ohio government decided, in one fell swoop, to change the will of the people, which was our legalization. Nothing to do with hemp, but in there. Um, Change where you could buy what they're calling, and they can only call it drug paraphernalia. They can't just call it paraphernalia, because paraphernalia, by definition, is any accoutrement to anything. So, I mean, um, if you have a guitar, your guitar strap is guitar paraphernalia. That's just that. Look the word up. I trust me. When we first got it started with this, again, if you've watched the show enough, you know that I do some research, and words are a favorite of mine. And so once again, what they have to call it is drug paraphernalia, and then what they're doing is they're saying that all that stuff has to be sold in the dispensaries again. Um, these two changes, and the fact that they're trying to say that intoxicating hemp, which again, I have not. I need to. I still have not read specifically what SB 56 says, and there's more than one reason for that, and I'll mention the more than one reason for that in just a second. But the fact of the matter is it says that all intoxicating hemp products also have to be sold in the dispensary. Okay, so um, I either have to pay to manufacture and then I guess sell the CBD products that we have, full spectrum, whatever, to the dispensaries, or because let me tell you something else that the state of Ohio did this year, which they didn't think through, but really, really, really helps anybody in Ohio when it comes to hemp, is they disbanded the hemp part of the Department of Agriculture. And what they did was, by doing this, and a lot of states have done this, is basically gone back to the federal guidelines for hemp and are no longer going to regulate it at the state level, so to speak. So, guess what? For 309 more days until that Section 781 gets removed from the appropriations bill or something else changes, which it will. And now they're talking about how, because they're going to reschedule, which is, again, if you're a supporter for your marijuana, legal marijuana, it's not any better than, well, it's a little better than what it is. But only better because now the FDA has to do something with marijuana, because now we can do medical studies on it. But anyway, so we'll see how that goes. But they're saying that's going to make it easier on, or may not have anything to do, maybe remove that ban on hemp. I don't know. I don't see that. Again, they haven't done anything. They're only putting the ball in motion. Okay, he's only doing this. He only brought this up right now just to get the ball in motion, and this doesn't change anything that I've predicted, other than the fact that this doesn't make marijuana legal. Okay, it reschedules it. And they're clear about that. But he did this one to boost his ratings because they're terrible. And again, by the time all the paperwork gets done and everybody thinks this is a great idea, other than the realists, 6 months from now, maybe, then they'll use that in the elections, which is everything that I thought would happen and predicted would happen. So we'll see. We'll see how all that goes. But, here's the deal. I'm going to continue to sell federally legal hemp products, just like I have done for 30 years. It was in 2004 or so that the source law was created. And this was a federal judge that created the source law that said, if the product comes from hemp, and we were importing everything at the time, but this still holds true now, even more true now than it did then as far as domestic hemp, was the fact that if it is derived from hemp, it's hemp and 100% legal. And if it's derived from marijuana, it's marijuana and 100% not legal. It's just that simple. This was in 2004. I mean, we still have HIA versus DEA to protect us in selling hemp products. That is straight up that law. That's the law. Okay, and then we also have the fact that hemp is 100% federally legal, and we can go to the guidelines. Now we go back to 76067. I can't believe I've forgotten what it was that took hemp off the controlled substance list, and look at the federal definition and guidelines, and you will see that it is clearly listed every single thing that you can think of, byproduct, extracts to material, whatever it is. Every single product that comes from federally legal hemp is legal. Okay? I don't know of, and again, this is the funniness of the government. I don't, we tend to legalize in the states' rights, things that the federal government says are illegal. But you can't legalize or make something illegal that the federal government says is legal. That's why you can own a gun in every state, everywhere. This is why you have freedom of speech in every city, in every place that you go. Governments cannot make things that the federal government says is legal illegal. And again, I might be totally wrong on that, and there may be some precedent somewhere that says you can do that. I'm going to find it very hard to believe. But I don't. We may find out. Now, I'm not. Again, here's the thing. This is, and I will keep saying this because this is the exact same thing as before. This is a policy change in the state of Ohio. This is not a law change in the state of Ohio. The state of Ohio does not have the right nor the law to back them to change the definition of hemp. And of course, interesting enough, they're already going to get a voter initiative. They're going to try to get a voter initiative on the fall ballot to remove all this. I wish them all the luck, and I'll collect as many signatures as we can. I hope as soon as it has it, we'll have it here, and we'll spread the word in Ohio and try to get everybody to sign this thing. But I can tell you, we have very little time because you have to have the signatures in, I believe, by July, if I remember correctly. B, I have not seen any money, and if there's some real money behind this, then maybe we can collect as many signatures as we need to even get this on the ballot, and I'll do everything I can. But I've been through this, and without any money, you can make a good effort. but you can't, And I was just talking about how, and again, I do not sit around and brag about the things that I have done in the movement that have been highly impacted. But in the state of Ohio, and again, I don't want any credit for this, but in the state of Ohio, you understand, I worked for the first, when the Ohio Rights Group, which was trying to pass the Ohio Cannabis Rights Amendment, what I call OCRA. Okay. And we started in 2013. I was the regional manager of the signature collectors. And I mean, put as much time and effort into this as possible. We didn't have any money. I mean, I donated a substantial amount, and I might have been one of the biggest donators. I wasn't the biggest, but I know that I put a lot of money into it. The stores were doing well, and what it was a therapeutic cannabis and industrial hemp. So there was two sections of the bill that we were trying to get into the voter initiative, and one was therapeutic cannabis, the other was industrial hemp. Again, obviously, why I got as involved as I got, and so I went all over the state and anything. But my point is this: we had very little money, relatively speaking, very little money. This was true grassroots movement type stuff. And we had, I mean, yeah, Amy Wolfenberger and Kim Rupp come to my mind as just my girls that I mean, they were unbelievable. I didn't get out there and browbeat for signatures, but they did, and they organized browbeating for signatures, and this, that, and all the other. I can't tell you. We collected thousands of signatures at Hemptations. That's for sure. Salute. And so, but unless I hear there's like some big money behind this one. But this is my point as well. Ohioans, get out there, find the petition, at least get it signed. The more signatures that we can, again, we set the ball in motion. I'm not saying we wouldn't have legalization today or medical today, but I can tell you this: the reason that we have medical today is because of what we did, and also because of the failing of issue one, which was one of the best propagandas that any state has ever put against marijuana. When they called it the marijuana monopoly on marijuana thing, and we didn't legalize. I think it was 2016. I forget when that was. But we set all those balls in motion with the Ohio Rights Group and true grassroots movement in Ohio to legalize cannabis for therapeutic use and legalize industrial hemp. Now, of course, we didn't get hemp we had medical first, and then we got hemp, because that's how Ohio is too. It took them forever to get the medical up, and then they got hemp legalized to grow in Ohio, and then they totally screwed that up as well. But anyway, so I look forward to the fight against Ohio and the federal government in 2026. And again, the federal thing, it's going to get hit by every side, and they're already going after this SB 56 in more than one way as well, not just in this voter initiative movement. So, again, it's anti-consumerism at the very least. All right, well, let's go ahead and take time to remember those that we've lost this year. Gabe, on the right in this picture, left us. He was with the Hemptations family for quite a while. I know I showed this picture recently on the show. But Gabe he did everything, this, that, and all the other for Hemptations. He also worked at local skate park for me. So he is definitely one that will be missed in the family for sure. And of course, we lost Josie Dog. You know, I don't want to say that she was the hempiest dog on the planet ever, but she probably had as much. I did send a picture of Josie over, didn't I?
You did not.
Oh man, dang it! I thought I sent a picture of Josie in. Anyway, so we lost Josie Dog. Josie was with me every day, everywhere I went for the most part. And hemp head to toe, hemp collar, hemp leash, hemp this, hemp that, blankets and toys and all those things. She was definitely one of the. She led the hemp life for a dog. She even had a bandana that said "Hemp Dog" on it. What up, Hemp Dog? Maybe I'm going to add that to my AKAs. Hemp Dog. Anyway, and then we also lost Super Bun Bun, who was Super Bun Bun lived in the stores for years. That rabbit was, man, he was so cool. He was just a cool rabbit, honestly. But he was lucky enough to go out to the farm, and he passed away on the farm, and that was nice too. But yeah, Super Bun Bun was definitely a Hemptations pet. I don't want to say pet. 24-hour protection. Picture Monty Python in the Attack of the Rabbit scene. But anyway, smoke in peace, all of you, one way or another. Josie's chasing Super Bun Bun around Hemp Heaven. This I know for sure as well. This I know for sure. Anyway, so, all right. Well, let's get on with it. The product spotlight. 4 from the store, 1 from my door. I'm just going to go, I'm just going to go big. We've shown a lot of clothes over the years, but here's most of actually the clothes. 3, 4 racks, 5 racks of clothing. And so, all clothing on sale, definitely in the area, and you need a jacket, man. I got a jacket for life for you. And so either way, a lot of clothing at the good old Hemptations. And then the paper products. I know I've been showing a lot of the cards, so if I missed any, you might get a picture of them there, and then you've got some paper, for artists and art paper and the resume kits, I think, are down there on the bottom shelf. And then, of course, on the end there is the hemp clipboard. Showed one of those on this year's product spotlight. So the next one is the last. We're sending out the year. If it's on the shelf at the end of the day, I might smoke it myself. No, I won't. It'll be here. It'll be here in the new year. But it's my last 3.5 gram jar. This is some hash burger. So if you need, get something through the end of the year, we are reordering and we'll be restocked with all of the flour that we have soon. But this was my last jar of 3.5 gram hash burger. Um, and then, of course, because January is like no drink January or whatever they call it, and also because you know THC drinks are also one of the hottest subjects of 2025, and I'll get more to that in a minute. Um, but these are all the THC drinks that we have, derived from 100% federally legal industrial hemp. So if you're gonna not drink alcohol in January for some reason, but these, I think the THC drinks are a good way to go if you want to supplement something, right? Many others have felt the same. Many others have felt the same. All right, the one from mine is probably my most used hemp product. No, it is not. It is not. My coffee cup is my most used hemp product. So this may be my second most used because I carry my backpack, to work, from work, everywhere, yada yada yada. I have it there. I go, I probably get something out of it, put something in it once a day, and so it has served me well. I think I've been carrying this particular one for man, I can't even imagine, 6 years. I'll have to go back. I know it was before the show started, even. I think I was carrying this particular backpack, or I got it shortly after, because I do remember showing a picture of my fanny pack and some other of their products. But anyway, and so far, the only issue I've had, and reiterates what I say about hemp as a material when you choose the right one. There's a hole you can kind of see on the right, kind of beside the patch in the middle. If you go to the right of that, you can kind of see where I got a clip on there. But the only reason I had to do that is because, once again, the stitching. I had an issue with the stitching, so the material kind of came away from the zipper. So I had to clamp it on, and I just need to re-sew it again. Either way, but again, it wasn't. The material is not getting holes in it. The only hole in it is where the stitching. And this is what I have seen with the majority of hemp clothing, hemp shoes, and things like that. It tends to be a stitching issue. And again, the canvas is super thick. And so, it takes this, what they call a surge protection sewing machine, basically, surge protector or whatever, surge, to really work with that to begin with. All right, there you have it. 4 from the store, 1 from my door, here on the last of the year High Noon Hemp Show.
Indeed. Which, of course, brings us to the greatest segment in internet history. I still haven't been proved wrong when it comes to that, and I doubt I ever will be, because, it's true. They can't prove me wrong. In any case, it is the Beachwear segment. It is a segment where we talk about all of, well, at least most of the hemp products that Beach has, specifically the clothing products. As you may know, if you've been watching the show for a while, maybe some of you are new, so you're going to learn today. Beach has set and holds several hemp records, all unrecognized by the Guinness World Records, because their official policy is they just do not care. They care about everything else possible in the world except for cannabis and hemp records. And to prove that, we always go to the Guinness World Records Twitter and see what they're talking about. Today we have a video, and I will tell you the record before we look at it. It's the heaviest weight lifted with one ear using a clamp. And they even have a little ear emoji. 186 and almost 186 and a half pounds by Amrik Singh, which I think that's flag of India. So heaviest weight lifted with one ear using a clamp. That's the entirety of the record. Let's check this out and see what this guy's. He's putting the clamp on. There you go. He's clamped to his ear with like a C clamp type apparatus. 186.46 pounds, lifted it with his ear. That's a record. Guinness sent people to India to watch this man do this and set a record. And there it is right there. Now they care about that. They will. I don't know how much. I would love to know how much they spent on sending a crew to India for this guy to lift a weight with his ear, with it clamped to his ear. I would love to know the budget for that trip. So I'm sure it's ridiculous for a ridiculous record. Meanwhile, Beach, we have almost no budget here. We talk for almost over 7 years about Beach's many, many records, and we continue to chronicle those records. In the Beachwear segment specifically, as I said, we chronicle the hemp clothing, the massive amount, the record-setting, dare I say, amounts of hemp clothing that Beach owns. When we talk about the Beachwear segment, all I have to do is ask Beach one simple question, and that is, what are you wearing, Beach?
That's right. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach? As promised, Dolce & Gabbana. That's
Snazzy.
right. Bringing out the Dolce & Gabbana for the new year. You know, I said if I dropped the ball, I'd drop it at high noon, and I dropped it at high noon, and I'm wearing my Dolce & Gabbana, as promised. On top there, that's what I call, because the label just says 100% hemp. But right beside that is the Chinese symbol, Tama, or Ma, for cannabis. I clearly recognized it. So my jacket is a hemp hoodlam pea coat, I should say. It's a coat. My jacket under that is my Dolce & Gabbana. So Dolce & Gabbana jacket and pants. So it is a Dolce & Gabbana suit. And then my vest is a Hempy's vest. And then underneath that, my long sleeve is a Young Maven long sleeve. You know, I found this Dolce & Gabbana hemp suit on eBay. And once again, my hemp karma, if I believed in karma, I definitely believe that I have good hemp karma. I'll call it harma. No, that's terrible. We'll just stick with hemp karma. All right, because it, you know, the jacket was my 42 long. The pants were 36 long, which are my measurements. I mean, I was like, if this actually works out, I just can't believe it. And it really is like tailored to me. It's a good thing I still have my svelte body,
Right.
you know, what I still call skinny. I'm still skinny because if I gained 10 pounds, I'm not sure if this would still fit me. But it does fit me to a T, and always has since I found it. And again, it's the real deal, Dolce & Gabbana. Underneath it all, because it's still butt-ass cold here in the high state area, I've got my Hempest long johns on, and then a pair of Satori socks, and those are iPath shoes. And so now you know when I really want to dress up for hemp. And I might recreate the image of Jack Hare. I have a poster somewhere, and it says Jack gets dressed up for hemp, and it's him in a hemp suit.
Mm.
And so I may try to recreate that image in his memory, and for everything that he did and the path that he set me down. And I feel honored that I could even, do that anyway. So anyway, there you have it. If you're curious, what are you wearing on this New Year's Eve to bring in the new year or host the High Noon Hemp Show? Now you know.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
There you go.
Happy New Year indeed. All right. Well, I did find the Ohio Rights Group commercial, so we'll just go ahead and I don't know if I played this already or not. But here it is, and we'll be back with news and picks throughout the year.
Nice.
Registered voters, this is a call to action. Get your signature on an Ohio Cannabis Rights Amendment petition and help get the Ohio Cannabis Rights Amendment on the ballot in 2014. This is a therapeutic cannabis and industrial hemp issue. One plant, many uses. Go to ohiorightsgroup.org. That's ohiorightsgroup.org to get the facts. You can also go to either Hemptations location to sign the petition. Help make Ohio a better place.
Well, we started trying to make Ohio a better place.
Yeah.
One plant, many uses. Oh my gosh. Blah. Well, we'll get the sore subjects of the year out of the way first. It saddens me that I have to say that one of the two biggest issues in the hemp fight, so to speak, last year or this year until tomorrow was the attack from the marijuana industry. It's just so unbelievable to me to see just in the last year how this federally illegal industry has attacked the federally legal hemp industry. And you go back over the last couple months or so, and you've heard this rant. And I'm not going to talk much about it. I am done with it, as we should all be. And we should all tell the marijuana industry that's federally illegal still, to leave hemp alone. And the second biggest attack on hemp this year, 2025, was the alcohol industry. Now, for the record, folks, the alcohol industry has been one of the leading lobbyists against the legalization of marijuana for decades. 50 years. 40 for sure. Okay? They've put more money keeping marijuana illegal in the country than probably anybody else. Because they've always thought that it was a threat to their industry. Guess what it never did? It never affected how many people drink alcohol and how many people smoke pot. We were still smoking pot and drinking alcohol. But all of a sudden, you can drink your pot, and because you can drink your pot, your THC from hemp, legally, we saw an amazing reduction in alcohol drinking. And instead of this being a good thing, all right, being on the top of the list for alcohol consumption as a country is not something to brag about. Okay? It's not. And once again, they have no proof that drinking THC has any more of a negative effect than smoking THC. And so that's the other thing that the government's pissed about is if everybody's drinking THC drinks, the DUI disappears and that money scam disappears. And this is why I call it a scam, Because if they were really trying to keep people from drinking and driving, it wouldn't just be $1,000 fine and you pay an attorney $1,000 and you walk away. It would be 30 days in jail. Are you really trying to protect the public against drunk drivers when they know that if they get one, the worst of it is it's going to hit their pocketbook like a mofo? They're going to take the risk all day long. You really want to stop people from drinking and driving, make it 30 days minimum. And you just see if that really affects you. But here's the thing. They're saying that alcohol consumption could be down anywhere between 30 and 60%. And one of the things funny, what I've been seeing recently is the argument that it's because Gen Z isn't drinking as much. And that is 100% not the reason. And is the alcohol industry going to try to make Gen Z legal? Because they're trying to make THC drinks illegal. They're behind it as much as anybody is. And again, something we know kills you. Something we know. Actually, the one thing that we know that inhibits our vehicle or our ability to drive a vehicle safely is alcohol. And the studies show it. Marijuana? Nope. Cocaine? Nope. Heroin? Probably. I mean, I don't know if anybody would get behind the wheel on heroin, that's for sure. But nobody does either. Because you can't. I'd like to see the studies on shrooms and some of the other things that we tend to enjoy as intoxicants, if you want to call them that. So, that is hopefully 20. I can't say I'm looking forward to the fight in 2026 when it comes to these just such ignorant battles. I mean, all we had to do with hemp was to stay status quo. Just keep the status quo. In Ohio, all they had to do was say, 21 and up. That's it. And not a $50,000 license and 21 and up. All right, a $35 license, a $50 license, whatever a tobacco license is, honestly, should be what I pay to make sure that I'm selling a product that's for 21 and up. Okay. They can't, well, I don't know if they can't, but they won't come in to see if I'm selling tobacco to minors because I don't have a tobacco license. We don't sell any tobacco products. But the fact of the matter is, whatever that is. Anyway, we'll see how it's all going to work out. Either way. Oh, man. I feel like the picture of the animal bedding didn't make it over either, but it looks like Dominion Hemp animal bedding, which has been around for a while. I guess you can go to Walmart and buy a bag of their animal bedding, at least online. I don't know about locations. So maybe some locations. We'll see how popular it is. But I thought that's good for them. Good for them. Mm-hmm. Capital Hemp. You've heard me talk about them in D.C. They've been fighting a good fight in D.C., but the fight is over. I think he hopes to open up. again. But I was there. He opened originally in 2008, and let me think. I was probably there maybe shortly after that. I have to go back and see. I know Stefan was with me. But it was a tiny little shop, but I put it on, one of my all time, lists of true hemp stores, because he had a little bit of everything. He did have some paper products, and he had, just a little bit of everything. And they had a smoke shop in the back, and I have a Capital Hemp shirt. I'm pretty sure I've worn it on the show as what are you wearing, Beach? Um, and then he had multiple locations around DC. He grew a little bit, and then he kind of reduced and moved, and now I guess he shut his doors again. Hopefully not for the final time, but he's reevaluating. I think the whole thing. So bummer to hear that. Hopefully, Capital Hemp comes back to the Washington D.C. area. Either way, but it doesn't inspire me. Again, retail is one of the hardest businesses in the world right now. I don't care what you say or what. I mean, retail is one of the hardest businesses, brick and mortar. No matter what you say. Modern Farmer article reconsidering hemp a promising grain crop. The article now, if you don't know, you should download the Flipboard app. It's a news app, and you can follow Hemptations news page. I post most of the stuff, like these articles, that I get from Flipboard. It's just one of my means of preparing, getting stuff to you, the public. But it is up there, and they did a great job of really running it all down in every aspect. So it was really, and again, this was in Modern Farmer, or on Modern Farmer's website. So, I'm surprised, and I can't believe that I didn't go there when I was in Golden. But Zodiac Hemp is in Golden, Colorado, and they just celebrated 25 years of business. And I talked about being one of the oldest true hemp stores in the world. And these guys are close. They're right behind me, but not quite there. And again, from everything I read, True Hemp Store, again, they were 25 years ago. They were, uh, focusing on all the hemp stuff, and it looks like they have a full range of products. The one thing that I didn't understand in the article, and I'm hoping that maybe the author of the article was saying this, but I don't know how you would walk away from interviewing Zodiac Hemp and then thinking this is true. But in the article talking about them, it says hemp is not cannabis. And that makes me cringe. I mean, they should have said hemp is not marijuana. But hemp is cannabis. It was clearly in the definition. Cannabis, sativa, L. And so, oh man, I don't know. Again, if you know somebody out in that area, please go in Colorado. Someone correct them, because all of it's cannabis. Marijuana is cannabis. Hemp is cannabis. But it is one of those conundrums where you would say all marijuana is cannabis and all hemp is cannabis, but not all hemp is marijuana, and not all marijuana is hemp. And that's the stupidity of laws. Oh, I do love words, but law trumps words sometimes. Anyway, or even common sense, for that matter. The state of Himachal Pradesh in India has a green to gold initiative to grow so much hemp that they become a world leader in bioeconomy industries. I'm behind that 100%. Good for them. Green to gold. We should be thinking about that here, where we still need to make it green to gold. All right. Well, let's go ahead. We're going to finish up the show here with just kind of some random pictures from last year. Some of my favorite. I just went back through the year. Some of my favorite picks. Car seat, like super dope looking car seat made out of hemp. That's probably just like one of the coolest ones. One of the earlier in the year, because I kind of went in somewhat segmented order, I suppose. All right, what's next? Oh yes, I had reported in previous years about mycelium hemp coffins, but this year I got to report on the first person in the United States that was buried in one, and that was in the spring of 2025, which was the first person in the United States buried in a hemp mycelium coffin, which again will break down naturally and makes all sense in the world. I've always just said, and it hasn't been legal in the state of Ohio to bury yourself in something like this until just recently. It wasn't legal to bury yourself in a biodegradable box until recently.
Wow.
Aye, right? Again, like can you imagine? I don't know. I don't even think about it. It's just so stupid. It's just so stupid. We went from basically like piling rocks on top of ourselves once we recognized what death meant, instead of just kind of walking away from the dead, to like putting ourselves in cement boxes inside of wood boxes inside of cement boxes. It's like, anyway. But, a natural burial containers there's been a lot of increased interest in it in like the last 20 years or so, for sure. All right, what do we got? Oh, Hemp Shield, one of my favorite products that we've shown. I know the next picture, which is a picture of hemp wood, that you could use your hemp shield on if you wanted, probably. Hemp wood is in Kentucky, and they got so big. Big news for them in 2025 was their new facility, which is massive. And they even got good old Rand Paul to show up and cut the ribbon on it. So they're doing great things. My very first arguments have always been, we could stop drilling for oil and we could stop cutting down trees if we grew enough hemp. And hemp wood is proving the tree thing, whether it's for hemp wood or paper, which is the other argument to stop cutting down trees. Anyway, what do we got? What's next? Oh, the discovery, and I can't believe that it took me so long to discover the oldest hemp house in the world. But I did. I discovered it in 2025. It's in Japan. It is what I would describe as a thatch house. But the walls are hemp stalk. The roofs are hemp stalk and material. Everything is tied together on the inside with hemp rope. And again, built in 1698, over 300 years old. And apparently it hosted samurai and dignitaries and things over the years and whatnot. And so, I thought when I was thinking about this again, like this is without a doubt, I win the lottery tomorrow, I'm going there. As soon as my first check comes in, what I mean. It's I've always said there's no doubt in my mind. If anybody asks, like, what would you do if you won the lottery? There's no doubt in my mind. I would travel all the freaking time. I might have like a little cheap place, buy like a cheap house somewhere in the middle of nowhere, for that matter, and never be there. But this place is definitely going top of the list as places to visit. I would add the 600-year-old French Hempcrete Bridge to that list. You know, I would have on the list, but never go there. Unfortunately, the fountain in Russia, which is probably the largest sculpture monument to hemp in the world, if I was to guess. Again, I would never go there. I would never step foot in Russia. But it does exist, and I have shown that on the show. I have shown the fountain of hemp leaves. That is, again, it's a monument because they grow a lot of hemp, or they did in Russia. One of the things I reported on this year was the fact that some high-ranking military person in the Ukraine got caught illegally selling hemp to the Russians. And apparently, there's a whole region of Russia of leftover hemp, like thousands of acres that grows back every year of hemp that's basically been abandoned. Yet another place I would love to visit when it's in full bloom, just to see thousands of acres and no, they don't do anything with it, from my understanding. Bizarre. Bizarro. All right, what do we got next? Yes. Definitely one of the coolest dwellings that I have ever shown as far as hempcrete goes. But this was the stargazing resort. And they are adding more. Since I reported on this, I have seen that they are actually adding more hempcrete buildings. Yet again, I don't have to win the lottery to do this. I just need to go there. I mean, Colorado is not that far of a drive away. I guess I need to go to Golden, find out how far this place is from Golden, go visit Zodiac Hemp myself and tell them. And then, go there. But I definitely would keep this on my list. I need to just go see what they charge to go and stay there for a couple days. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. You can rent I don't know if it's still for rent on Airbnb, but there are houses in Asheville, North Carolina that are made of hemp. Not the original first American-made hemp house, which is in Asheville, but some other hempcrete houses that are in Asheville that you can rent on Airbnb. So anyway, all right. What else? What else did we talk about? Oh, the old Harley Davidson. You know, I don't want to say that I was one of the first to report on Harley Davidson's hemp composite, and again, it's the fender, the seat trim, basically that's made out of hemp composite. But I will say that, you know, after I did report on it on the High Noon Hemp show, like a month or two later, and it was so funny because like one post was just talking about it. They didn't even show the picture of it. I'm like, I had to. He was like, Harley Davidson made a hemp motorcycle, and they didn't show the picture. And I'm like, this was months after, and I was like, well, here's what it looks like if you want to show everybody. But anyway, you know, a lot of hemp motorcycles found this year. The Australia, New Zealand, I think it was New Zealand. Maybe the one company with the hemp motorcycles as well, composite frames, and those were really cool too. You know, this was Harley Davidson, so you know that kind of trumped everybody else. And they're making these bikes. If you want to get yourself a hemp Harley, again, I'd probably buy one if I won the lottery. I don't know. I don't even ride the motorcycle that I have. It's not a motorcycle. It's technically a scooter. But it's a 650 cc scooter, and it's not your 150 cc Vespa.
You start a scooter gang.
A lot of people ride Bergmans, and you know when they ride with their motorcycle buddies. Again, it's everything in a motorcycle. It'll go if I need it to, but I don't have to shift gears. See, that's what I did. That's why I drive a belt-driven four-wheeler, and I switched over. Like the first four-wheeler I bought 25 years ago did not have a clutch. So I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. So anyway, I have to figure out how to make mine. I don't know what hemp I can even add to my scooter, my Bergman, add some hemp to it, but I'll try. All right, what's next?
Last one.
Oh, I think one of the coolest looking as well houses that we talked about. This one's in Perth. Yeah, the Proclamation House. I just think that the structure of the whole thing is probably one of the most complex hempcrete structures that we've seen. And so I really like what they've done with the depth and whatnot of the hempcrete in the Proclamation House. All right.
There you go.
That's it.
That's all the.
And here's that's just a teaser, folks. They're all on YouTube. You can go back and check out all of those things that I reported on and much, much more. Anytime you want at the Jedi Hemp channel. Go boost some random views on random shows and learn about hemp, because I guarantee you will. Or more than likely you will. I can't guarantee you will. But I really think you might. Ding, ding, ding. And with that, the end of the show will come to an end. Totally random. But first, if you're in the High State area, next Tuesday is the medical marijuana meetup at Mad Tree at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. we usually go to. I don't necessarily always make it to 11 p.m., but when I do, it's a good night. And I don't leave because they're like boring or I'm bored. It's usually because I'm tired and want to go to bed.
Right.
So anyway, Mad Tree in Oakley next Tuesday, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. medical marijuana meetup. It's a great crowd, as I've always said. I am one of the representatives of hemp that's there, and so that's that. All right. Well, no questions or thoughts. Well, I guess I did have some questions and I did have some thoughts. But Hempy New Year to everybody. We will see you in the new year. And remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having Hemptations.
See y'all next year.